NCDC draft day is almost upon us. This guy definitely has a stash of players that he's waiting to pick, and that's why I grew out my stash for this interview. Coach Kersner, this is our fashion correspondent. This is one of our favorite coaches on the planet, and the guy who gave us the rundown on how this draft is going to work, luckily, before we got on this interview. Coach, minutes away from draft day here. Where are you at in your final preparations? What do you guys got to do to get this thing together and win this draft?
Yeah, first of all, Dan, Lucas, good to see you here in the off season. And yeah, we're excited. Obviously, as you guys know, we're drafting 2005, 2006 birth year players. And, you know, there's a ton of really good talent in those age groups across the country. So, I mean, I think, you know, part of the draft is you want to be really good, you know, in your own backyard. You want to try to regionally find some of the best players. But as you know, like the footprint of our league is small, so we're not going to just be able to, hey, we got the Hitmen around the corner, we got a new team in Mercer coming in, and there's other teams that are, you know, we're Powell's closed, CJR is closed, Wilkes-Barre now another new team closed. So, you know, we're not going to limit ourselves to just players in the Jersey, Philly, you know, Mid-Atlantic region. We're looking for good players, you know, all the way you know, to California and even internationally, Canada and in other places. So there's a lot of names to sift through to figure out who we want to add to the puzzle.
Yeah, and you guys know, I mean, yourself, you know the youth development game well, man, when it comes to the Skipjacks Hockey Club, when it comes to look at the Rockets Hockey Club organization at the youth ranks, it's possibly one of the best on the planet when it comes to developing young talent. You look at the 05-06 range. How do you know if you've won a draft at the end of it here? It's not like a professional draft where you've seen these guys in college for 4 years in the NCAA for professional football, or in hockey, you've seen these guys throughout the USHL or the NCDC or wherever you've seen them play, or the collegiate ranks as well. How do you know you've won a draft by the end of this thing when you hang up the phone?
Oh, I have no idea. No, it'll be, to your point, it'll be challenging. There's so many good players all over the place. And, you know, we're sifting through hundreds and hundreds of names of really good players and watching as much video as we can and talking to guys. But I guarantee you there'll be teams, you know, that will draft a player and I'll have, who is that? I didn't know that kid. And 2 years from now, he'll be in the league and he'll be the leading scorer and realize we should have done more homework.
That's exactly right. And you look at it, it's for the parents watching at home, the players watching at home, it's fun to know that, right? It's interesting to know that, and it lets us know that we should always be kind of getting ourselves out there. It's why it's such a great opportunity to play in the NCDC, to be seen by coaches and scouts and talent developers. And Lucas, we bring you in here for Coach Kerr's question for you. What do you got for Coach? What are you asking here as the Rockets Hockey Club prepare to make a run for a Dineen Cup?
Well, the Rockets Hockey Club, I mean, certainly has a tradition of being a team comprised mainly of Rockets, guys who can, you know, skate fast, hit hard, score a lot of goals. And it's a team that relies on really utilizing, you know, every inch of space on the ice. So my question is going to go into that a little bit here, Coach, is on draft day, are you focused on really bringing up, finding those young, fast, skilled guys and then hoping that they kind of pan out? Or are you looking for these like maybe already established, more physical skill guys that can play for you on day one? Or is it a mixture of both?
It's a really good question, and it is a mixture. But I think the biggest thing, to me, would be a little bit more of your first point is we're not looking, and I would think it's hard for many 05s and 06s to be finished products, but we're looking for people with high ceilings. We're not looking. You don't need to be the leading scorer on your team right now. You don't need to be somebody that is you know, already committed or you know, maybe you've made a national festival or USHL draft. Obviously, I think those kind of kids that have maybe already established themselves and been drafted in a different league, whether that, you know, be the OHL or the USHL, something like that, or been in, you know, the USA Hockey National Festival process. Those are certainly good players. And there's a lot of the guys that we're looking at, you know, fit that mold. But I can promise you we will draft guys that maybe are a little under the radar right now, because what we're seeing in them is a high ceiling and potential. And just know that if they continue to work on their craft and develop, you know, on and off the ice as a person, as a student, and as a player, they'll be a really good fit for us, whether that be 1 year from now or 2 years from now. So, I think it is a combination. Certainly some of the players will be maybe a little bit, you know, more well known around it, and some of the guys, like I said earlier, like never heard of this kid, but promise you that kid sticks with it 2 years from now. He's got a chance to be a really good player.
Now, Coach, we look at this Rockets Hockey Club organization. You guys were in the Deneen last year. This past year, all the way to the semifinals. At the premier level, you win a national championship with Killer and his squad. Wags is down in the elite. They're in the postseason at nationals every year. Rube's in the youth program. Like, how, other than being from Jersey, and us Jersey guys know how to win. Like, what are you guys doing? What's the magical elixir there in Rockets Hockey Club world that brought you guys so much success?
Well, it's the people. And I think, as you guys know, this is only my second year here. And it was what attracted me to coming to the Rockets from day one, was just the people that were involved. It starts with the ownership, Dave and Ellie Gibson, and their commitment to, supporting the program. But again, I think their commitment to getting the right people involved. And, I think for them, it was a process that they really invested in. It was about getting the right people on the bus and then getting them into the right seats. And I think everybody now is in that. So you just mentioned it. It would be hard to find somebody better than Jason Kilcoyne at the tier 3, at the premier level. Obviously winning it all this year, but in just my 2 years here, if you play on the premier team for the Rockets Hockey Club, you're going to play Division III college hockey. Like, you just it's just a no-brainer as to the work he's going to do to help you get there. And as you mentioned, in my 2 years here, Todd's elite team has been competing for a championship in both seasons. And, at the midget level, the youth level, Knowles, Rubens, 16, 18, and the first year he was doing the 15s also, 16, 18 now. Both are teams that are, top 10 nationally ranked, chock full with Division I committed players, playing unbelievable competitive schedule, USHL draft picks. We're able to move a lot of his guys right onto the NCDC team. So again, soup to nuts here at the Rockets. And I think that was the attractive part for me coming here to work with the NCDC, just knowing that we had so many really good people involved that are making my job easy. They're in the sense that a lot of the players, hey, we're drafting 05, 06. Some of the guys that we draft, I think, will be potentially on the team this year, maybe in 05. But obviously it's a little bit more maybe for down the line future. And part of that is we don't need a lot of players because we so many players right in our own building, from the youth through the tier 3 junior, end up right on our NCDC team.
Coach, we thank you for joining us. The NCDC draft is coming up Wednesday, May 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see who the Rockets take in the first round. They'll have a breather in the second, but they'll come back in the third. Let's see who Coach Kersner calls the next Rockets Hockey Club stars. Stay tuned. You can watch on youtube.com by searching NCDC Draft, or just like and subscribe right now. Hit that little bell at the bottom of your screen, and you can follow along with all USPHL content, as well as the Dan K Show, the most watched show in junior hockey. Rockets, we always like to say it, to the moon.